What's up, guys? One Koala Man here, bringing you episode number 78 of our fairy tale reviews. And in this episode, we finally get to see what the world of Edolas looks like, and it looks kind of familiar to a certain movie about a bunch of blue people. You know, we'll get into that when the time comes. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit that like button down below. Also, be sure to answer the question of the day and follow me on Twitter, both which will be in the description down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more content. And I have been noticing, quite a bit of a rise in the subscribers. We're at 54 the last time I checked. Now, that's a lot. I mean, I didn't expect 54 of you guys to be in there, but you're there. And without further ado, guys, let's get this mother underway. So our little mini squad is still stuck in the bubbly place of like the middle of Edolas and Earth, and Carla's explaining to everybody what this is. Happy has absolutely no idea, even though him and Carla are from Edolas. I still don't understand why he doesn't know anything about Edolas, and Carla has all this information about it. But she's saying that Edolas has a very finite source of magic power, so they're not going to be able to use their magic for very long, if not at all. And the reasoning behind them getting sucked up was because the king of Edolas created the enema to suck up the magic from Earth and give it to Edolas. So this guy is obviously in control for power. He's like power hungry, and he just wants all the magic that he can get. So I kind of have a feeling he's going to be an antagonist of this arc, seeing how he's, sucking up Earth. And Lord knows how many other worlds he sucked up for their magic, if he did. And this big whole mess is basically Wendy and... not Wendy. Wendy has nothing to do with it. It's basically Carla and Happy's fault, since they were birthed from Edolas, sent down to Earth for some super mission or whatever. And Carla's saying, if we betray Edolas, because they're technically not supposed to even return to Edolas, but they're going there, and if they return and they betray, like the squad, Wendy and Natsu, then they basically have to get killed by Wendy and Natsu. So after Carla's done explaining everything about Edolas and the rules and whatnot, they fly up into the enema, and they have to go like really, really fast. So they're hitting like Mach 10 speed, and Happy has never hit that speed before, so that's pretty good. I don't think Carla's ever had to hit that speed before. But they're flying into this enema, and shortly after they hit Pandora or Edolas, one of the two. But basically, they're like hand in hand. If Pandora was a cartoon, this is basically what it would look like. Bunch of floating like islands everywhere, floating rivers. I don't think there's any floating rivers though in Pandora. There's like waterfall in Pandora, but that's Avatar. This ain't no movie review. And so they're flying, and then they eventually run out of magic because, like I said in the beginning of the episode, there's a finite source of magic in the whole entire world of Edolas. So they fall into the forest, and they run into this one guy, trying to find directions on where the heck to go. Oh, they're trying to go to the palace, the king's palace, to, free their friends. And this guy sees Happy and Carla, and he just flips out. He's like, oh! He's like super scared of them, and they're like, seriously, dude? But turns out that Carla and Happy are called egg seeds, X seeds, something like that. But that's like their species, their race, or whatever you want to call it. And everybody's afraid of them. Everybody's afraid of these egg seed creatures. I have no idea why they would be afraid, but they are. And so, they try to find disguises, and obviously they find absolutely horrifying looking disguises. And it's just the worst thing, because they're in the forest and they have to, find something to disguise themselves. So the squad's, in their disguises, doing whatever, trying to find their friends and trying to find the palace. And they run into Fairy Tale, the guild Fairy Tale, in the middle of the forest. So they go inside. They're as happy as can be, but it's not normal. I mean, there's not really any other word for it. It's just not normal, because you got Gray, who's covered up, who's usually naked all the time, and he is goo-goo over Juvia. Juvia is basically like Gray, saying like he's too like addicted to her. She needs her personal space. He needs to take some clothes off or something. So it's very, very interesting that they're like their roles switched. Everybody's roles basically switched in the entire like Fairy Tail guild. Alzak and Biska, they're together and they're like, you know, all lovey-dovey with each other. And if you notice in the other world, Alzak and Biska are like, you know, they like each other, but they don't really do anything about it. Elfman, who is the manliest man of the entire guild, is a freaking pansy in the guild. And Jet and Droy, who are usually, you know, one of the weakest, are the strongest members of the guild Fairy Tail in this world. So that's pretty interesting. Kana is like the most drastic change because usually she's always, you know, chugging down a barrel of wine or beer or whatever she has in the barrel. But in this one, she's like a really good girl. She's a classy girl. She doesn't touch any sort of alcohol or do any sort of bad things. And it's just weird. And then the biggest of them all is Lucy. Lucy is there, but she is not Lucy. She is a complete savage. There's just so much that we need to know about these other ones, and it brings up the question like, where's Gagio? Where's Wendy? Where's Natsu? Where's Makarov? Where's my boy Loxus? Okay, where's my boy Loxus in all of this? So we still haven't been introduced to, you know, a lot of the characters of Fairy Tail yet. Hopefully we'll get introduced. But that is the end of the episode of Fairy Tail. Alright guys, so you already know I don't like to end off without a question of the day. And today's question of the day is revolving around the world, no pun intended. And since we're talking about worlds, what is your favorite planet? Now, it doesn't really have to be, let's just make it a real planet. What is your favorite real planet that has actually been discovered and not like theorized about? And I'll be that guy. You can include Pluto if Pluto's really your favorite planet. Even though it's technically not a planet, technically is a planet. Whatever it is. What is your favorite planet down below in the comment section? My favorite planet is probably Jupiter because it is the biggest, it is the baddest, it has the biggest storm. And, fun fact, Jupiter actually has rings. But you cannot see them unless you're like behind Jupiter. So the sun is like reflecting off of it or whatever. And then you'll see like a little bit of But I always thought that was pretty interesting because I took astronomy last semester in college, and it was pretty interesting learning about the different planets and learning about the Orf planets or whatever, something like that. Not dwarf planets, Orf cloud, something like that. And that's with like a bunch of little Pluto-looking things. But this is not astronomy class. Let me know down in the comment section below what your favorite planet is. And as always, guys, that about does it for today. So keep it cool.